I still remember the exact moment my world tilted again. It was a crisp October afternoon in Columbus, Ohio. Leaves crunching underfoot, the kind of fall day where the sky is too blue and everything feels almost normal. I was walking out of the Kroger on High Street with 2 paper bags. Milk, bread, eggs, the usual Saturday haul for a divorced guy in his late 50s trying to keep things simple. That's when I saw her. She was sitting cross-legged on the sidewalk near the cart return, a torn piece of cardboard propped against her knee. In black Sharpie, "Anything helps. God bless." A plastic cup with a few crumpled dollars sat in front of her. Her coat was too thin for the wind, her gray-streaked hair pulled into a loose ponytail, face thinner than I remembered, eyes hollow but still that same hazel I used to stare into for hours. Elena. My ex-wife, the woman who'd walked out on me and our 4-year-old daughter 18 years ago without a real goodbye, just a note on the kitchen table. "Forgive me, Lucas. Don't look for me. It's better this way." I'd spent years convincing myself she was selfish, weak, maybe even involved with someone else. I raised Lily alone, through school plays, braces, college applications, her wedding last summer. I remarried briefly, divorced again. Life moved on, but the scar never fully healed. I stood frozen, bags slipping in my hands. A part of me wanted to keep walking, pretend it was a stranger, but my feet betrayed me. One step, then another. When she looked up, her eyes locked on mine. Recognition hit like a slap. She scrambled backward, knocking over the cup, coins scattered across the concrete. "Lucas, no, please, just go." Her voice cracked, same soft accent she'd never quite lost after moving from Mexico City as a teen. I knelt, ignoring the stares from passers-by. "Elena? What the hell happened to you?" She shook her head, tears already falling. "You weren't supposed to see me like this, ever." I didn't leave. I couldn't. I helped her gather the coins, then guided her to my car parked 2 blocks away. She resisted at first, mumbling apologies, but she was too weak to fight. In the passenger seat, she curled into herself like a wounded animal. We didn't speak much on the drive. I took her to a cheap motel off I-70, the kind with weekly rates and no questions. Paid cash for a room, bought her a hot meal from McDonald's. She ate slowly, like she hadn't had real food in days. When she finally looked at me, really looked, the dam broke. "You have to understand," she whispered. "I never stopped loving you, or Lily. I left to keep you both alive." Alive? The word hung between us like smoke. She told me everything that night, voice barely above a whisper, staring at the stained carpet. 18 years ago, I was an investigative reporter for the Columbus Dispatch, not Woodward and Bernstein level, but good enough. I was digging into a major construction scandal, downtown redevelopment projects, millions in public funds vanishing into shell companies, bribes, kickbacks, rigged bids. The deeper I went, the dirtier it got. One name kept surfacing, Los Halcones, a branch of the Sinaloa cartel that had quietly moved into Midwest real estate laundering. They weren't just pushing product, they were buying legitimacy through condos, office towers, strip malls. My editor warned me to back off. I didn't listen. Then the threats started. Anonymous calls, photos of Lily at preschool slipped under our door, a brick through the living room window with a note. "Next time, it's her." Elena found the note first. She didn't tell me. She waited until I was at work, then called the number left on the paper. They answered. They laid it out cold. "Stop the investigation, or your daughter disappears. No police, no feds. Just silence." She begged them to take her instead. They laughed, said they didn't need her. They needed me, broken, a man too devastated to keep digging. So she made the deal. She would disappear, make it look like she ran off, maybe with another man, maybe just selfish. Leave a note. Vanish completely. In exchange, they promised no harm to Lily or me. As long as I believed the betrayal was real, as long as I stopped chasing stories, as long as the family looked destroyed, they would stay away. She lived on the run ever since. changed names, worked under the table, greening houses, waitressing, anything cash. Never stayed in one city longer than 6 months, always watching from a distance. She knew Lily's graduation date. She stood across the street at her wedding, hidden in the crowd, crying silently. She kept newspaper clippings of my bylines until I stopped writing about corruption. She carried a photo of us three, faded, creased, in her wallet every day. "I had to make you hate me," she said, voice breaking. "If you ever suspected, if you looked too hard, they would have known the deal was off." I sat there numb. 18 years of rage, of telling Lily her mom chose freedom over family, of holidays where the empty chair hurt like hell, all built on a lie to save our child's life. "Why didn't you tell me?" I finally managed. "We could have run together, fought back." "They would have found us," she said simply. "They have people everywhere, judges, cops, politicians. You were loud. I had to make you quiet, broken, safe." We cried together that night. Not the dramatic movie kind, the ugly, choking sobs of people who'd lost decades to fear. The next morning I called Lily, told her only that I'd found her mom, that it was complicated, that we needed to talk in person. Lily drove down from Cleveland this same day. When she walked into that motel room and saw Elena, thin, scarred, alive, time stopped. Lily froze in the doorway, then ran to her. They held each other like the world might end if they let go. We spent days piecing it together. Elena had kept proof, hidden in a storage unit in Dayton under a fake name, photocopies of threatening letters, burner phone records, grainy photos of men tailing our old house, even a USB drive with audio from one call where a voice, calm, accented, laid out the terms. It wasn't enough to take down the whole cartel, but it was enough to reopen wounds, enough to go to the FBI. I contacted an old source, a retired agent who'd worked organized crime. He listened without interrupting, then said the magic words, "This is still live. The laundering ops never stopped." We met in a nondescript office in Cincinnati. Elena told her story again, showed the evidence. They took her into protective custody for a week while they verified, ran checks, pulled old files. Turns out, Los Halcones had expanded. New players, new fronts. But the old threats? The network remembered. And some names from my old stories were still walking free. The feds moved quietly. Raids started small. Offices in Columbus. Bank accounts frozen. Then bigger. A developer I'd named years ago arrested at his gated home in New Albany. Headlines screamed, "Cartel-linked money laundering ring busted in Ohio." Elena testified in closed sessions, protected. But every word cost her. She shook through it. I sat outside the room, waiting like I used to wait for her after long shifts. Lily and I visited daily. We brought photos, old home videos. She laughed, really laughed for the first time in years when Lily showed her wedding pics. One night, after a long day, Elena looked at me across the cheap diner booth. "And never thought I'd get this back," she said. "Even a piece of it." "You sacrificed everything," I told her. "The least we can do is give you the rest." She moved in with me temporarily. A spare room. Therapy twice a week. Slow steps. Lily helped her get new ID, apply for benefits. We didn't rush. Some wounds don't heal fast. The trials started 6 months later. Not splashy like in movies. Quiet federal courtrooms. Plea deals. Sentences. One by one, the men who'd haunted us faded into prison numbers. The last big name, the one who'd made the original call, took a 20-year sentence, no parole. When the gavel fell, Elena just nodded. No celebration, just quiet release. Lily got married again last spring in a small backyard ceremony. This time, Elena walked her down the aisle, not hidden, not afraid, in a simple blue dress, tears shining. I stood beside them, the man who'd once hated the woman now holding her hand. Life isn't perfect. Elena still has nightmares. I still wake up checking doors. But we have mornings now, coffee together, walks in the park, grandkids on the way. And every October when the leaves turn, we drive past that Kroger, not to remember the pain, to remember the day the truth finally came home. If you've made it this far, thank you. Stories like this remind us that love sometimes wears the ugliest masks to survive. Hit that like button if silent sacrifices break your heart. Subscribe for more real-life stories that hit hard. And drop a comment. Which city are you watching from right now? What would you do if you discovered your ex gave up everything to protect your family? Don't forget to share this if it touched you. Someone out there might need to hear it. And if you're wondering what happened next, well, that's for another video. See you soon.